Move over Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. The richest person in recorded history was an African emperor named Mansa Musa. His empire, the Great Mali Empire, a civilization so wealthy and powerful it stunned the world. But why have we been taught so little about it? Mansa Musa ruled Mali during the 14th century, a time when West Africa was a hub of wealth, gold, culture, and knowledge. He inherited a vast empire and expanded it into one of the most powerful and prosperous kingdoms the world had ever seen. The Mali Empire controlled major trade routes across the Sahara, connecting West Africa with North Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. Gold, salt, ivory, and slaves were traded, and Mali sat at the center of it all. At one point, it was estimated that Mali controlled nearly half of the world's gold supply. The empire's reach stretched across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Niger, and Mauritania. Mali wasn't just wealthy, it was respected globally, and at the top of it all stood Mansa Musa. His rule extended across vast lands, from the Atlantic coast to the heart of the Sahel. It wasn't just about gold, it was about governance, diplomacy, and strategic trade. Mali was not just a kingdom, it was a civilization with a vision. What made Mali stand out was not just its wealth, it was the organization. With governors, local chiefs, a tax system, and a standing army, Mali was not chaos. It was a powerful, stable state that rivaled any kingdom in Europe at the time. In 1324, Mansa Musa made his legendary Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca. He didn't travel alone. He brought over 60,000 people, including scholars, soldiers, and servants. His caravan included 100 camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of pure gold. He distributed so much gold along the way, especially in Cairo, that it caused regional inflation for over a decade. Arab historians were stunned. Al-Umari, a 14th century scholar, recorded Mansa Musa's generosity and wealth in his chronicles. Europeans too began to map Africa more closely. He became the only sub-Saharan African figure to be featured on Europe's Catalan Atlas, drawn holding a golden scepter and a nugget of gold. Mali was on the map, literally. His pilgrimage didn't just build religious credibility, it opened trade routes, brought architects and scholars back to Mali, and made it a center of Islamic prestige. Mansa Musa proved that Africa could lead the world in wealth, faith, and diplomacy. The pilgrimage also brought architects and engineers back to Mali, who helped design mosques, schools, and civic structures. It wasn't just gold Mansa Musa gave, he brought back ideas, connections, and vision. Mansa Musa returned from Mecca not only richer in reputation, but inspired. He transformed Timbuktu into a global center of education and Islamic scholarship. Musa expanded the Sankore Mosque into a university, drawing scholars from Egypt, Morocco, and the Middle East. Tens of thousands of manuscripts were collected, covering science, medicine, law, and religion. Over 700,000 handwritten books once existed in Timbuktu, many still survive. It was a city where learning was preserved and celebrated. This was not an illiterate continent, it was a beacon of thought, a model of civilization, and Mansa Musa was at the heart of it. While Europe was still emerging from the Dark Ages, Timbuktu was flourishing with thought. The libraries and institutions Musa helped build attracted thinkers from all over the Islamic world. These were the seeds of African Renaissance, long before colonization ever touched the land. And this legacy of knowledge wasn't limited to a small elite. Literacy in Arabic spread throughout the empire. Many Malians memorized Quranic texts, wrote poetry, and even practiced law based on Islamic and local traditions. So why don't we learn this in school? Because colonial powers wrote African history out of global history. An Africa that was wealthy, literate, and respected didn't fit the narrative they wanted. Colonial scholars dismissed African empires as myths. European colonizers looted libraries, burned manuscripts, and silenced oral traditions. What wasn't destroyed was ignored. Despite this, the truth still survives in ancient books, ruins, and the oral memory of our people. The spirit of Mansa Musa remains unbroken. Today, a new generation is rising to reclaim that legacy. We are telling our own stories now. And Mansa Musa's name will not be forgotten again. More African educators, filmmakers, and historians are now reclaiming this truth. Pan-African movements and youth-led history campaigns are putting Mansa Musa's face back into classrooms, social media, and public memory, where it belongs. During colonization, maps were redrawn, languages were lost, and the very memory of these African civilizations was labeled irrelevant or uncivilized. This erasure wasn't accidental. It was political. Mali's heritage lives in today's struggle for sovereignty, education, and pride. Mansa Musa reminds us that Africa was never poor, it was plundered. To every young African watching this, your ancestors were kings, scholars, builders. You are not beginning from nothing, you're continuing greatness. Mansa Musa's story is proof that Africa's past is not one of darkness and poverty, but one of light, wealth and wisdom. The world must remember, and Africa must teach it. If this story moved you, don't let it be forgotten. Like, share and subscribe to Divine Earth Africa. Together, we will restore our stolen history. We are not asking for permission to tell our truth, we're declaring it. Let this video be part of a new era where African pride is not a whisper, but a roar heard across the world. Let this not be the last time you hear the name Mansa Musa. Share it with your children, your classmates, your communities. Africa's past isn't a secret, it's a source of pride and the world needs to know it.